Hello everyone, how's it going today? I'm excited to bring you another book talk, book review, book opinion video. Today I am going to be talking about The BoneMan's Daughters. Okay, this is by Ted Dekker. I've never heard of this author in my life. I think I found this back in high school and I picked it up at a Walmart because I was trying to read again and it was a failed attempt back then, but I kept it over all these years and I'm very, very glad that I did. It says he is a New York Times bestseller. On the front quote, it says, "It doesn't just get under your skin. It crawls there and nests and raises its head with a bitter tug like it's living within you." And that's from Brad Meltzer, New York Times bestselling author of The Book of Lies. So if that means anything to you, cool. The synopsis of this book you can find online anywhere. There will be trigger warnings throughout this book and book review. I just want to let you guys know it's fairly trigger heavy. So read the description below if you're interested in reading about those, if you're sensitive to certain topics. I'll do my best to find them online. I'm not perfect, so if I leave any out, just let me know and I'll add them. No big deal. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you're not interested in spoilers, this isn't the video for you, and that's okay. But I just wanted to give a full thorough review on the book, so just be aware there's spoilers ahead. So this book's about a American soldier who is coming back from the war, and the beginning of it starts off talking about him in the war and being captured by a person. I forget what country they're in. So he gets captured by this guy and tortured. And the way that he's torturing him, he's making him watch these children be murdered. By how he's murdering them is he's breaking every single bone that he can without breaking skin, and then they eventually just bleed to death and die. So that's how he's being tortured. Not really physically tortured. He's just psychologically being messed with. When he finally gets free, he's a little messed up. He's not super PTSD, but he is a little messed up, and he hasn't been the best father and husband to his wife and daughter. So he regrets all that, and while he's being tortured, he realizes how important they are to him and how much he wants to rekindle his family. And it's very heartwarming to hear that, but also at the same time, coming from a family that has not been perfect, I don't really feel that much sympathy for this guy. I just don't. I feel like I was supposed to feel sympathy for the dad as far as why doesn't the daughter or the wife forgive him? I understand completely because you've been gone for however many years and you didn't care, and you obviously don't care. I still did feel a little bit. You can kind of tell that this was written by a man when it's talking through the perspective of the women. There's a daughter and a mother. And sometimes when they were talking, it just felt really stereotypical, what you'd hear in a TV show that's written by men. Not that I hate books written by men. Most of the authors I read are by men, I think. Most of the books I've read are by men. So I obviously don't care who wrote it, but I can kind of tell just in the way that they spoke. It just sounded like what you think women would say in this situation, or what you think a typical teenage girl would do in this situation. So if that's the kind of thing that bothers you, it's got a little bit of that, but it doesn't last super long, so it ends up, rounding out to be more about the killer. So when the dad gets back, he tries to rekindle his relationship with his daughter and his wife. They don't accept it, of course. The wife has moved on. She's kind of a total terrible human being, but I enjoyed reading about her as a character. The daughter was okay. She was a little messed up because she just has a weird perspective on herself and the world and being without a father most of her life. There's this serial killer that's been on the loose, and they thought they had him arrested, but they didn't, and then he reemerges. And so he captures the daughter of the soldier who came back. His shtick, the serial killers, is that he breaks all of their bones without breaking the skin, and then they die eventually. So that kind of connected the soldier father with him being captured in whatever country he was captured in. So it was very strange that it was that specifically related to two totally different killers. It made the police think that he was being triggered into PTSD, and so he was actually Bone Man. So the whole time they're battling with, is Bone Man the dad in this, or was it some random dude? Because the time that he was not killing people was the time that this guy was in the army. So it's one of those stories where oh well, if the killer hasn't killed, he's either been arrested, murdered, or he's in active duty, one of those situations. And so the police think it's him the whole time, and there's one cop who doesn't think it's him, which is really refreshing to have at least one person believe in him. I hate whenever cops are just all bad and terrible people, they don't care, because I want to believe that there's at least a couple of good cops out there. I don't know. I've only dealt with a few, and they were all hateful, mean for no reason, trying to cause a scene when there wasn't one. So I just want to say that I hope that there are good cops out there, and I want to believe there are. So reading about a good cop was really refreshing to me. I did not enjoy the part about the war. It was very boring to me. I'm glad it didn't last very long. I really liked the story of the book, but there were some characters that I hated. I hated the mother. She was terrible. I liked reading about her as far as what her and the daughter were going through together, and like, I didn't understand the relationship between the mother and the daughter really, because at one moment they hated each other and they were so selfish and not thinking about the other person at all and just doing things for their own benefit. But then on the other hand, they loved each other. Like, it was a little confusing to me as to how they actually felt about one another. But it ended up working out, in my opinion. If you've read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. So as far as the serial killer goes, the Bone Man, okay, I really love the Bone Man. If you've watched shows like Law & Order, Criminal Minds, things like that, I know they're very cheesy and some people really hate them. But I grew up watching those in a town that had like no internet and like nothing other than TV. I love Criminal Minds. I thought it was a very interesting show back in the day, and I love reading about serial killers and killers in general. I think it's a very interesting study, and I would love to read more about them and stories like this too. Real crime and fake fiction. I loved his weirdness. Like, he would do like 3 things I hate about this, and he would list them there. And every time it was always like 3 things. Like, he would always do that. And I thought that was interesting to be in his mind. And also like the lotion thing that he did. And my husband thought it was really funny. He's like, what's with killers and lotion? So yeah, it's got a lotion thing in here where he like has to cover his body in this specific lotion. And it's really gross and just very descriptive. But I think it was very interesting to see where he was mentally. Towards the end of the book, the Bone Man kind of gives the daughter a Stockholm syndrome, so she starts to kind of like the killer, but the husband is going to save her. Like, he has decided that he loves his daughter so much that he's going to do whatever it takes to get her back, even if he dies. He has nothing left. Like, his daughter doesn't want him, his wife doesn't want him, so even if he dies, he doesn't really care. He just wants to save her, and that's very admirable. I appreciate that, you know, that sounds like knight in shining armor to someone like me. So that's very heartwarming, and he goes through so much just to get her back, and he finally does. I don't want to spoil the very, very important part of it, but he ends up having to do some things that he shouldn't do to get her back, and it battles with his sanity, and if he even believes that he isn't Bone Man. Like, he even struggles with himself. Like, am I really Bone Man? I don't think I am. I'm not. I can't be Bone Man. And that's very cool and interesting, and I enjoyed that mental battle with himself. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Now, that was fairly generous. I didn't hate the book. I liked it a lot. I really did enjoy it towards the end. I think it got so much better. It bloomed. You can read in my Goodreads review, as I'll link below, that I really enjoyed how much it bloomed for me. And I think that if you're a slow burn serial killer reader, you'll like this book. It's fairly thick. I forget how many pages, about 420 something. So it's not too bad of a read. It's got a lot of pages, but it's a smaller book, so I think it evens out. And it was only like $8 brand new back when I bought it, and you can probably buy it in better condition and better hardcover. Like, you can see, I broke the spine. I'm not very picky when it comes to paperbacks. I'll treat them however I want. But if it's like a hardcover, I'll treat it a little bit better. That's just me. I gave it 4 stars because I think that it is really, really good, just in general. I think that the killer was very interesting, and the blossoming of the main character, how he transformed like a good character should. I liked that characters that I didn't like got killed. I liked that there was the battle between, is the bad guy really so bad? Or am I really the bad guy? You know, it just had an interesting take on that, in my opinion. Do I recommend this book? Yes, I do. I highly recommend it. I think everyone should check it out. It's just The Bone Man's Daughters. Like, you can get it in hardcover or paperback. It's probably really cheap online used if you wanted to just buy a used copy and read through it real quick. It didn't take me long to read through this because I enjoyed it so much. And I'll leave you with one last question as we wrap up this video. Would you kill an innocent man to save your daughter? Think about that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I put out new videos every single Friday. I'm starting to make it very habitual and I am enjoying the heck out of it. And I just want to say thank you for all the new subscribers and all of the new people who I've had here. I've had some people message me on Instagram and I'm just really, really happy that you guys are accepting my new way of doing my channel. There's a lot of changes. I hope to update you when there are new changes and things happening. So thank you very much for sticking with me and I appreciate that. I will see you in the next video then. Bye guys!